fall down at 1 p.m. every day, and it still does today. What do we have here? The moon. The moon. We have the moon, and what's this? Sun. So you can see the moon during the daytime as well. If you know when and where to look, it just depends on where it is in its orbit around us. And right then, the sun was at its highest point in the sky. So, what time was it? 12 o'clock. Midday. Yes, that's right, 12 noon. And we are facing the south. And the sun isn't really moving across the sky. What is moving? The Earth. What's the Earth doing? Rotating on its axis, yeah. It's rotating on its axis, so the sun seems to rise in the morning over in the east and then sets in the west. And as it does so, daytime turns to night, and we can start to see the stars. I'm going to show you the perfect night sky here. I've turned off all of the street lamps around us. I've also taken away the clouds, so it's nice and dark, nice and clear. You can see thousands of stars instead of maybe a few hundred. And it's even dark enough for us to see this cloudy, hazy band there. Does anyone know what that is?
Milky Way.
The Milky Way. Yeah, the Milky Way. That's what our galaxy looks like from our place in space. Oh, someone's got a light on. Can you put that away, please? Thank you.
No.
All right, another easy question. What planet is this? It's the Earth.
You're
yeah.
in.
So that is our planet. That's the planet we live on. You can see half of it there. It's lit up by the sun. The other half is in darkness. And you said that we rotate once on our axis, right? Every day. But how many hours does it take to do that? 24 hours.
Ooh.
So as we spin, we get dragged from daytime to nighttime. Can you see some of the lights on the nighttime side of the Earth there? And if we want to see the moon from here, we actually need to zoom out quite a lot, because the moon is so far away from us that you can fit all of the planets in the solar system between us. The moon really is that far away. The moon is also about a quarter of the size of the Earth. So how many moons can we fit inside the Earth? Maybe it's a quarter of the size. Four, there you go. 4 moons. Around about 4 moons can fit inside the Earth. I'll make them both a bit bigger, a bit closer together as well, so we can see what's going on. And you can see that half of the moon is also lit up by the sun there. And as it goes around us, we can see different amounts of that lit side, so we get the phases of the moon. What phase is this now?
Full moon.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, it's a new moon. It's a new moon because the nighttime side of the moon is facing the Earth. When the moon is on the other side, when it's around here, and we can see all of the lit side of the moon, that's when we get a full moon. So, how many days does it take for the moon to orbit the Earth? 27.3 days. Well done. 27.3 days for the moon to go around the Earth once. And wherever you are on Earth, it doesn't matter if you're here in England or in Australia, you can only see this half of the moon. And that's because it also takes the moon 27.3 days to spin once it's locked. And you can see those dark bits there. They're called mareas. People used to think they were seas full of water, but now we know there are pools of cooled and dried up lava, and the brighter areas are the mountains and the highlands. So even though we can't see the far side of the moon here on Earth, we do know what it looks like because we've sent satellites there. So we've also sent people there, and they've taken photos of the far side of the moon. So this is what it looks like. So you can see we've only got one dark patch there, and we're not entirely sure why the two sides of the moon look so different. Maybe the crust on this side is a bit thicker, so that lava couldn't get up to the surface as easily. 12 people, 12 American astronauts, have walked on the moon. What was the name of the first?
Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong. Who was the second? Buzz Aldrin. Buzz Aldrin. Glad no one said Buzz Lightyear. Who was the astronaut who went up to space with them, but he didn't land on the moon? Michael something. Michael Collins was his name. So he went up to the moon in the same rocket as Neil and Buzz, but he didn't land on the moon. He just orbited around it instead. And it's quite sad that no one really remembers him because he had a very important job. If he wasn't there, then the other two can get back home. They would have been stuck on the moon forever. And the sky there is always dark. You can see the stars even during the daytime. And that's because the moon has no air. So there's nothing for the sunlight to bounce around. So the reason why our daytime sky is blue is because there's lots of different gases there in our atmosphere. And blue light gets sort of spread out the most. And talking about sunlight, it obviously comes from the sun. But what type of object is the sun?
A star.
Yeah, you're right. It is a star. It is a star. And the sun is really far away from us. It's about 150 million kilometers away from us, or about 93 million miles away. And that means we actually need to wait 8 minutes for that sunlight to get to us. And light is the fastest thing in the universe. To give you an idea how fast light can move, it can go around the Earth 7.5 times in just 1 second. That's how fast light is. So we've landed back on Earth, and this is the actual nighttime sky as seen from here in Greenwich tonight. At around about 11 o'clock, so the stars are all in the right places, and we are facing the south. And this part of the sky is sometimes called the theatre of the skies. This is where the interesting things are. You can see planets here, and the constellations change with the seasons as well. But I'm just going to turn it around to the north because there's a group of 7 stars that you can use as a signpost. It can help us find other things in the sky. It looks a bit like a saucepan with a wonky handle, maybe a kite. Can you see it? There it is. Does anyone know what this is called? You almost there. What was that?
Dipper.
Not quite the dipper, but the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper. Or the plough. It does depend where you're from, really.